Well, welcome back, everyone. It's lights, camera, action. It's Make Our World Your Runway. You know, this is the weekly show that interviews the most fascinating individuals from the world of modeling, fashion, beauty, pageantry, business, and even the entertainment industry. And as always, we have a dynamic show and a dynamic guest coming your way today. But of course, we have a few announcements before we start. And we'd like to thank the sponsors that make this show so possible every week. And that is the Global Trade Chamber, 100 Successful Women in Business, Lux Salon, the Queen Beauty Network, Tower Club, Royal Dames, Vita Designs, Casa Calabria, and the Bangladesh American Chamber of Commerce. So, sponsors, thank you so much for making this show possible every week. And as always, I want to tell all our viewers, remember to subscribe to the Global Trade Chamber YouTube channel so you can see all the shows from Make Our World Your Runway and Success Stories. And I highly recommend that our viewers do tune into Success Stories because this show features the most fascinating women in the world of business and community service. From their humble beginnings to successful entrepreneurs, these women will totally inspire you. And of course, get ready for some exciting conferences, speakers, and awards as 100 Successful Women in Business and the Global Trade Chamber are going to come to a city near you. Now, they just did a fabulous show in Tampa, Florida, but their next city is going to be Atlanta, Georgia, and that's on September the 19th. Now, take it from me, these shows are always a sellout. They're free to attend, but if you want to be a speaker or you want to be an exhibitor, it's a great way to promote your business. So please get in touch with them now. You can go to two websites, www.100swb.com or www.globaltradechamber.com for all the information. Once again, that is Atlanta, Georgia, September 19th. It's going to be a great event. I have personally have been to these events, and I can tell you they're a sellout, and it's a great way to promote your business and learn about other businesses yourself. So once again, www.100swb.com or www.globaltradechamber.com for all the information. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to our show. We've got a great person who is an international health and fitness expert, speaker, and creator of the Reset System. She's on a mission to help women stop surviving and start thriving through every single stage of life. Now, I didn't know this after reading her bio. She was born with congenital digestive, pulmonary, and skeletal challenges. She spent nearly 20% of her childhood sick. At 19, she became her own health advocate. And after being told her condition would likely leave her in a wheelchair by 50, well, she understood that resilience and she wasn't having it. Today, she has transformed decades of personal adversary into a global movement that empowers women to reclaim their strength, confidence, and health. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome this fabulous and wonderful lady, Becca Tebon, to Make Our World Runway. Becca, welcome.
Hey, thank you so much, Angela. It is such a privilege and an honor to be here with you. And every time I hear that story, I look into myself and I'm like, I didn't even know I had a story growing up. Like that was just what I had to endure. I don't want to say like had to, but like, yeah, it was just part of my journey. I didn't even realize until my 40s that I did stuff that other people didn't really have to do. It was just part of the story. So there's no sadness involved in it. There's nothing other than I look back and with good coaching, I realized I had some adversities and I turned them into advantages. And I'm here to help women take the stage of their own lives and claim their own resilience back too.
Exactly. And, you know, after reading this, I have to tell Maria, you're definitely a 100 Successful Women in Business because even reading the rest of your bio, this is absolutely amazing because there's so many women out there, and I'm finding out that have had health issues. Now, I've got a girl coming into the pageant. She's absolutely beautiful. She's married. She has children. And when I met with her the other day, because I gave her her crown, her sash, she can't talk. And I didn't know that. I mean, to look at her, you know, I get messages from her. She's highly intelligent. And she pointed like this to me, her throat. And I realized she had a scar there. She had cancer, okay? She had a throat cancer at a very young age. And they had to cut out her vocal cords.
Wow.
Just the fact that she is a warrior and a survivor. She said, nothing is going to stop me. And she's a heart attack survivor on top of it. And I'm
Wow.
like, I'm shaking my head. I'm saying, that's a story in itself. A woman that's can't even talk because very little. She has to whisper, but she has no vocal cords. She's battled cancer and she battled being a heart victim. I'm like,
Angela, that is just unbelievable. I look at you and I look at me, and we're both New Yorkers, and we could talk a little fast. We could really put out a million words in 1 minute. And to think of not being able to communicate
right.
with your voice and only be able to use other means of sign language and your own dress, your own presence to win your own like runway, right? I mean, just that's unbelievable. Wow. Kudos to her.
Yeah, that's
Wait
what
to
I
meet
said.
her.
Kudos to
I'm
her.
looking forward to your show. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be amazing. And, here's the thing. I'm going to get on the show in a minute, but, her and I did a fashion show for Heart Sisters and the American Heart Association back in February. Okay, I'm a heart attack survivor. I only have 3 stents in one artery. I'm listening to these people. Oh, I got 9 stents. I got 13. I got 14. I came home and looked in the mirror and said, I'm not doing that bad. I said, and here's the thing. I got 19 years out of those stents. Okay.
Wow, girlfriend. Well, you're talking to the health queen over here. I am all about prevention and also supporting those who have been through various health challenges, whether it be cancer. I have a lot of people call me when they're going through cancer, when they get that note, right? They get that message. I've got bad news for you. I'm one of the first people that people call. I've helped people reduce, even eliminate rare tumors in their breasts just by detoxing parasites and heavy metals out of their bodies, right? So I help them prepare going into their war zone mentally and physically, strengthening their bodies, because that stuff, if you choose to use the chemos and the radiation, it breaks your body down. You need to be like at your top game going into it. So a lot of people hire me prior to starting those treatments and then utilize my systems in between, because there's only various things that you can do while you're undergoing those treatments, right? So we have to make sure that we're not doing anything contraindicative. But I was floored with this one woman. We completely annihilated one tumor and reduced another one, very rare, fast spreading tumors, just by doing the special detox and cleanses that I do with parasites.
And that, you brought up a very good point. You almost sound like my cardiologist. When I was having a little bit of a problem after surgery last year, when they took out the kidney stone, he said, I have a funny feeling you're anemic. I said, without any running blood work, he said, I know the symptoms. He said, but let me do this. He said, let me do a catheterization just to make sure those stents you have and the heart, because you've gone through a lot, the heart is not weakening. He said, well, what you went through, because they made a mistake of me and not with the hospital. They gave me too much fluid when they took out the stone. And I wound up in ICU with a tube down my throat. Okay. And this is the kind of a guy he is. He was away. When he heard it was me, he told his wife and his kids, that's Angela, I got to fly back. 7 o'clock at night, he's coming into my room and I'm looking at him. I go, well, you were just the guy I said I wanted to see. I said, but at this time of night, he said, when I got the report, I had to come in here. He said, your heart is very strong. There was no heart attack. He said, but they gave you too much fluid and it went into your lungs. But he said, after I, was a little better, he said, let me do a heart catheterization. He did. And he said to me, it's 19 years out of stents. He said, they didn't collapse, but they closed a little bit. He said, but I'm not going to do anything. He said, I'll tell you why. Sometimes too much is no good. Less is better than more.
Less is better than more. It's not adding more. A lot of times in my system as well, it's less is better.
He said, you still got blood flow going through. He said, I'm going to watch this. If I see they close more, his technology today, he said, we don't take them out. He said, because of the simple fact, he says that we could have bleeding in the artery. We just put new stents in. I said, ugh. He said, don't say that. He said, because now when they put stents in, they go under the arm, you're only on the table for 10 minutes. And he's right, because when I just had that last catheterization,
Wow.
I didn't know they don't dope you up. You're only in a twilight. They give you Benadryl. 5 hours later, I was walking out of the hospital, came home and do what I needed to do. So he's right. Less is better than more. And when they did my blood work and they found out that my iron was down, that was what was happening. Okay. And he knew right off the bat, you're anemic. Once they put me on that iron, I could go from here to I took a 45-degree angle, not out of breath, nothing. And that was the thing. And that's why he said less sometimes is better. He said, you fill the body up too much, that's what's going to happen. So I'm glad I got somebody that thinks like you do.
100%. Like, our bodies are machines. They are so geared to do these things. But with the advent of all these fast kinds of foods and chemicals added to our foods and dyes and metals that are in it, even like people don't know, like, rice is super high, fish is super high in metals.
Yes.
These protein powders that are out there, super high in heavy metals, lead, zinc, cadmium. Like, we need to like really get a hold of like what we're putting in, what we're ingesting. I just learned about the protein shakes and the crazy heavy metals. And I'm like, okay, so now I need to go and make sure my clients have like the best. And when people are asking me, what should I use? One of them that I had been recommending showed up on the ORG website as a bad.
Yeah, well, that's my cardiologist said to me. So you can't take the energy drinks. And I looked at him. I said, why? He said,
No,
he said,
nobody should be taking those energy drinks.
right.
Let me just
He said,
say right there.
yeah. He said,
Like,
you ever read
nobody should be
what's,
taking
yeah,
those drinks.
you're right. He said, you ever read what's in there? I said, no. And exactly what you said, that's what he told me. He said, you want to die of another heart attack? I'll take a bottle. I said, no, thanks.
There's kids, teenagers, young 20s, 30s, because they're like, they drink like 3, 4 a day. They have no idea what's doing to them. People and young kids going in the hospital from alcohol poisoning. You wouldn't think about that, but if you're dehydrated and your blood alcohol goes too high, again, like, there's so many things that we can be a little bit more mindful of and preventing. I went natural in hair color. Gosh, I guess it's about 4 years now. I didn't do it for any other reason than thinking I'm putting dye like directly on my brain. You know, the package says don't let it touch your scalp. We let it touch our scalp because we don't want roots in 2 days, right? So all that stuff just goes straight in. Lo and behold, 4 months after I'd started to do my grow out, and I thought, if I don't like it, I'll just re-dye my hair, right? It's probably my biggest vice that I had going on. And like 4 months after that, found out my mom has dementia. Now, I'm not saying hair dye causes dementia, but it does cause neurological problems. Dementia is a neurological problem. And so I thought, okay, it's also caused by low vitamin D all your life. Not caused by, but they're finding the correlation. If you low in vitamin D, you have a higher propensity to get dementia. If you're diabetic, you have a higher propensity. If you have heavy metals, metals in your fillings in your teeth, higher. So you start adding all these little things propensity to, and you stack. The body only has so many fighters.
That's right.
Now it's fighting off so much stuff, like even a little simple cold or an influenza of some sort, or a parasite or candida, or you're not sleeping. Like it's doing so much. Your cells can only do so much. If those fighters are busy, stuff is going to get thrown in there. You see over to my shoulder here, my trampolines. I became a tramp queen. I call it a tramp queen because that just.
Oh, I got to get over there and do that.
It's a little more sassy. I like to be sassy, but rebounding. When I found out at 49 that my hip was, I had osteopenia. Now, you usually don't get a DAX scan at 49. You usually
No.
get it at 55 or 60. Well, guess what? Everybody who's listening to this, at that stage, it could be too late. I caught it at very early stage osteopenia, and I knew to ask because why? The meds I was on for prednisone for my breathing is a cause of bone degeneration.
Yep.
So I was on it for 42 years. I thought, there could be a chance, right? They said I wouldn't be walking. Well, I kept my muscles strong, but that didn't keep my bones as strong. And I did do heavy weights. Now I don't do weights anymore. I still do weight training, and I'll explain that in a minute. But thank goodness for all my weight training that I only had a little degradation. Well, I picked up rebounding as a result. I changed over like 9 things. The doctor said to me, and I'm vegan at the time, he goes, well, I hate to break it to you, but you need to start drinking milk and eating cheese. A vegan doesn't drink milk and does not eat cheese.
Right. That's true.
But also, he said that without getting my blood tested. Turns out my calcium was not low because I had a lot of leafy green vegetables.
Yes.
My calcium. So calcium, they go straight to calcium. You need strong bones, you need milk, you need dairy, you need cheese. Wrong. There are 11 other things that help build your bones. Rebounding is one of them.
Yes.
It's a big one, only 5 minutes a day. And not only that, it clears out your lymphatic system. And I just want to share a little bit about some science here, you guys, because anybody who's listening in here at any age, any stage, we have lymph nodes all around our body. There's like 350, I think, of lymph nodes. When they find a cancer or a tumor, they check the lymph nodes around it. Why? Because the lymph nodes are like your Nile system. They transport and they cleanse out. Well, if there's a clog in your lymphatic zone, in your lymph node, guess what? Everything's staying in there. It's like taking antiperspirant and putting it underneath your arms and saying, okay, I don't want to sweat. Your body's supposed to sweat. So please don't use antiperspirant. Sweat. If you don't want to smell, use a deodorant that doesn't have aluminum in it, or just use some essential oils, or be like me, a little crunchy. Every now and then, I will say, you can tell I had some garlic. I'm just going to say that. Listen, I'm as clean can be, but it's good to know what your body is doing, is it not?
Exactly. Yeah, it's so funny you should say that. My mother, oh man, you'd have loved her. She lived to 94. This one took the hardest knocks you could ever think, even when my father got very sick. But if it wasn't for World War II, she would have been in the Olympics. I think she could have been a decathlon champion.
Really?
She was a champion swimmer. She was a champion bowler. Many years ago, she was on Wide World of Sports. She rolled the 600 series, smaller than me, exercised all her life. When she saw at about 11 or 12 years old, I was getting a little heavy. She said, that's it. No more cookies, no potato chips, no nothing. My poor father, but he was always thin all his life. She started me walking. And then in New Jersey, Seaside Heights, she said, you're going to swim from one end of the pier to the other. I said, you have got to be kidding. She said, I'll be right behind you. She taught me that hand over head, and I swam from one end of the pier to the other, and then her and I swam back. People were looking. That's how she got me to lose the weight, and from that point on, I have never stopped exercising. She said, if you want to lose weight, you want to stay healthy all your life, that's what you got to do. And the way she used to talk, my cousins to this day still laugh at it. No crap, get off your butt. That was her.
Well, I will say this, and I just want to, your mom was powerful, and thank goodness she didn't, you didn't end up with a bad relationship with food. So many people come to me that their moms or their dads or their brothers or friends would make fun of them when they were younger because of their weight. So I want to just say right here and right now, let me introduce myself. I am not a weight loss coach. I am a fat loss coach. I am a body composition coach. I am a human design of creating your destiny by intention and action, right? We don't just look at ourselves and jump on a scale. As a matter of fact, I haven't been on a scale in so long. I get my clients off of scales and just look at your belt loop, all right? Now, your dress size, whatever. It's not about the fat. I'm sorry, it's not about the weight. It's about the composition from the fat to the muscle. I have people that I have trained, they started literally 25 pounds overweight, according to charts. But when they were all said and done, they only dropped 10 pounds because they put on 15 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yep, I understand that totally.
And so people immediately utilizing this band system, they lose the fat faster than using weights because of the way the bands are utilized, right? So you have complete and total time under tension and AMPAC, as many reps as possible. Sometimes it's a whole iso hold. Sometimes there's plyometrics. These bands are created. They're soft. They're comfortable. Anybody, even with arthritis, can work out with me.
Yes.
Biceps, even with arthritis. Now, I have neuropathy from all my falls and my 9 degenerative discs in my spine, 4 in my neck, 5 in my lower back. I can't pick up 25 pounds. I can't even hold a cell phone for more than a few minutes without my fingers feeling neuropathy. Yet I can do these workouts. The reason that there's 17 wasn't geared anyway because I just wanted to not have the 15-minute workout, didn't want a 20-minute workout, but it turned out that 4 exercises in a specific body area, repeated 4 times for 40 seconds is all you need. Right. And so people are sweating in 17 minutes. They're building their muscles and they're dropping their fat. They're strengthening their mindset because this is something that is doable. Most people fail themselves because they try to do too much. They try to do something that doesn't even feel good, or they hurt themselves doing something that is not safe and age appropriate. And I want to say that because I'm 62 going on 37. Right?
Yeah, Mark, you're 62. I'm 72, going on 45. But you know what? Exactly. Oh, I got a story about that. Exactly what you said. Listen to this one. And I've had some good doctors. I had to have my hip operated on due to a fall. I had to have hip replacement. This guy was amazing. He was using AI back then when most people weren't using AI. But what he did was, I had a titanium rod in my leg. Cut that out. Because he was not only an orthopedic surgeon, he was a neurosurgeon. Took that hip and he extended it to the spine so that the brain could start sending the waves. You can't even see my scar. Those bands, when he sent me to therapy, that's what the therapist said. No, we're not lifting weights. He said, the bands, they're the best. Do you know I only had a walker for a week? It came for 1 week. On the 3rd week, I was in a small heel. Boom, I walked. I can lift my leg pretty much all the way up. And this is funny. Good friend.
I love it. And that is exactly why I got into bands, because of all my health challenges.
Yes.
In my life, I have been using bands. Now, the bands that are out there are not like mine. They snap, they pinch, they roll. They're made out of latex. These are made out of a very special rubber that doesn't break. It doesn't snap. That's great in the pool, right? And these were made specifically with a very high tension torque and specific threading in here so they don't ride up. But those bands that are out there, those thin latex bands,
Latex ones, yeah.
hate them with a passion. And I had to wrap them around. You either have to wrap them around your hands. It wasn't working for the bodybuilding that I wanted to continue. And I just added this
I love it.
first ball into the whole spectrum, which is great for behind your back to support
the back,
your
yes.
in your legs to do hamstring curls.
Yes.
bringing your feet up. Like I just like, this is such a simple package. It is travel friendly, so lightweight. You got like less than a pound and a half. And this goes down. You just put a little straw in it, blows it up. You never miss a workout. I have people all over the world in the Reset 17 program.
That's great. That is something I got to try. And if for the pageant this year, hopefully maybe you can do a prize package for the winner because there's so many girls that need this. Okay, and like I was saying, I had a friend, very good friend of mine, and my husband.
I would love to do a prize package. Count me in on
Okay.
giving away a Reset. Absolutely.
Ooh, I love it. Yeah, and like I said, my husband and I had a friend of ours. He had a hip hop right on, and he's one of these guys, lifts 500 pounds and everything. So I challenged him here by the bridge. I said, okay, let's see who gets up there faster. He's okay, you're on. 35-degree angle. I'm all the way up at the top. He's still coming down. I said, oh, just that 500 pounds doesn't work. He can't do what I can do. And I laughed, and this is a big guy, lifting 500 pounds in the gym every other day. I said, well, I said, I guess what I do outdoes what you do because I run all the way up. I'm still waiting. He's like halfway up.
You're amazing. You're such a firecracker. I loved you from the very moment I met you.
Yeah, same here. Same thing with you. One of the things I want to talk about before we run out of time is menopause map. That is unbelievable because I know I'm going through menopause.
Yes. Well, let me first just jump in there. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of time left, so I want to just be brief. People can come and listen to and get great information about their menopause, and I do give 3 distinct things that you can do to support your menopause. Menopause isn't just about hormones. As a matter of fact, hormones are the result of the problem. And so what I help people do is realign what they're doing. We reset the hormones, we reset the gut microbiome. There is food recipes in there. There's 11 different specific week by week what to do. It's a whole guidebook, videos, and live coaching. You get the bands, you get a trampoline because I believe so much in it. Reset is just this. It's reclaim your health, energize your body, strengthen your muscles, elevate your metabolism, and thrive for life.
Oh, I love
Right?
it. I love it.
It is not complicated. Being healthy, you guys, is so simple. But what's happened is there's so much information and misinformation out there, and you just keep reading and trying something, but not sticking with it. How about if you tried something that, and I don't even like to use the word try. How about if you did something that you committed to for at least 3 weeks? Like, if I told you that you would see results in 3 days, you might say, there's no way. You will see and feel results in as little as 3 days. In 3 weeks, your friends are going to be seeing and your results and asking you what you're doing. And it only takes 17 minutes. And I do not believe in fake food. I do not believe in putting sodas and crap in my body, but that's not to say I don't like a good chocolate chip cookie or birthday cake every now and then. Like, I do it. People are like, do you cheat? No, I don't cheat. I don't believe in the word cheat. I think cheat is a very low-lying vibration. I treat. If I want something, I know that I can have it, right? It depends on where we're going. Listen, if I'm going for a photo shoot, I'm going to watch those treats. I'm going to watch those treats because I'm going to show up as my best for that. But
Exactly.
But in the realm of it, I want you just to right now, who's ever listening to this, just take a snapshot for the next 3 days. Take a photo of everything that you eat.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of the day, evaluate what you ate, what time you ate it at. And I want you to think back, like what you were thinking. Were you bored? Was it habit? Were you tired? Were you thirsty?
Right.
Think about like what you're doing when you're doing it. And now go and do it again. Because what I find is what people are not aware of is awareness. People are not aware of what they're doing.
That's true.
First stage of my menopause program, a whole week of just becoming aware. Once you're aware of where you are and you want to be here, you can close that gap, but you can't close a gap on something you're not aware of.
Absolutely. And this has been, because I got the flash, we only got about 5 minutes left. But anyway, this has been absolutely amazing. I got a total education today. So, I want to thank you so much because I know you're busy for taking time out to be on
Oh,
Makeup World.
it's my honor. It was my honor. And when they do come, I talk about testosterone traps, right? So everybody, those doctors are fast pushing estrogen. And I just want to make mention real quick, and we could talk about the GLP-1 real quick as well. Super quick. Estrogen, a lot of my clients are finding that it is not supporting their bellies. They're getting bigger breasts. And it is helping with their energy. There's a lot of positive to it, but there's natural ways to boost your hormones, your estrogen, your testosterone, and your GLP-1. So whether you're thinking about GLP-1, you're on GLP-1, if you want to learn how to build the muscle so that you don't lose the muscle and your bone density utilizing the GLP-1, come and check out Reset. If you're thinking you've tried everything and you just need to go on GLP-1, how about I show you how to boost your GLP-1 naturally, boost your testosterone naturally so that you have more energy, more desire, more productivity, right? A lot of people in the workplace are finding as they get older, they have the brain fog, confusion, they have no desire, their productivity wanes. It is not your solo problem. This is like everybody, and there are ways around it. I have a menopause workplace program as well because it is really sad how women are going into these zones from perimenopause through menopause. And by the way, just because your mensa ends doesn't mean you're done with menopause. I have
Oh,
a client, 84, who's reorganizing her gut microbiome and her hormones so that she feels better. She does the Reset 17 at 84.
perfect. Well, anyway, my dear, I do want to thank you because I've got to close out the show. But ladies and gentlemen, you have gotten some wonderful, wonderful information today from Becca Tebon. We're going to be back again. I'm going to have her do another show. But as always, yep, there you go, Reset. As always, tune in Thursday because the show will be going live then. And we want to tell our viewers to remember to always tune every week because we're always going to have another packful show. So, Becca, thank you so much. And
Thank you for having me.
got it. And we will definitely see you again. And I'll see you at the pageant as well. Take care, hon.
Bye.